Hello guys, Shikaria here. I'm here with another Film Talks. This one I'm recording straight after the previous one, just so that I know, because otherwise I'll get delayed and there aren't many opportunities for me to record this because other people are in the house and then you get whatever else. So this one is, I can't remember, I wanted to do this back when Only God Forgives came out. Because I was going to watch that and then I found out there was an 18, so I couldn't do it. My top 5 Ryan Gosling films, because Ryan Gosling has this misconception where because you ask people, what Ryan Gosling film have you seen? 2 answers I commonly get: Crazy Stupid Love and The Notebook. Now I haven't seen Crazy Stupid Love, so I'm not judging that. Chances are I'm not going to like it because I don't really like those sorts of films. But The Notebook is not going to be on this list. Anyone who comments saying The Notebook should be on this list, please just no, okay? You want a film like that? Watch Atonement. Much better acting, much better story, much more tragic, really. The Notebook I really didn't like at all. I was bored by it, and I like those sorts of films. You know, there's Atonement. Trying to think what else. Blue Valentine. But those sorts of films. So this is my top 5 Ryan Gosling films. Chances are you probably won't have seen many of these. I would assume, because they're quite. One of them I've already talked about before. So at number 5. I was trying to think, what order would I put these in? You know, what would be my top order for this? And the first 3, I'm still trying to decide what order I would put them in. And so, because I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've sorted out the order. Because they're all, Ryan Gosling, I think, is one of these actors which, when you watch some of his films, he really knows how to hold the stage with saying very few words, as shown by Only God Forgives and Drive. So the 5th in my list is The Ides of March with Ryan Gosling, George Clooney, political drama thriller kind of thing. And when I watched it, I was completely, because I think this film is the best film that shows the sheer the sheer control of greed over people and betrayal and backstabbing, and it's just utterly fantastic, because I don't think there are any other films which quite show human nature as bitterly as this does. Because you think, oh yeah, so Ryan Gosling's going to be backstabber, betrayal, and whatever else, and George Clooney will be a good guy, and then George Clooney actually doesn't turn out to be that nice a guy either. So I think that it's really, really, really good. I watched it a couple of years ago. I've only seen it once. I have it on DVD. It's just over there somewhere. And I think that, but when I watched it, I thought, oh no, it wasn't a couple of years ago. It was last year. Yeah, wow, it was only last year. Shows how slow time's going at the moment in college and whatever else. Anyway, so yeah, number 5, The Ides of March, absolutely phenomenal acting from both Clooney and Gosling, but this list is primarily about Gosling. So, number 4, a lot of people haven't heard about this. It came, it came out quite recently. It's quite a new film. I hadn't heard about it until I was looking for films to watch, similar to Atonement, that kind of thing. It's called Blue Valentine. I watched it a couple of weeks ago. It's Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, and it's a very, very raw, honest look on relationships, because it starts off towards the end of Gosling and Williams' relationship, and you can see that they're kind of, Ryan Gosling's trying to work it out, but then you can see that she's really unhappy with it all and doesn't really want to be there anymore. You can see that the acting in it is absolutely outstanding. And then it skips back to how Ryan Gosling got to the place that they met, and then it tells their story a little more, and they go to this seedy motel, and the motel's, yeah. And then it goes and tells the story of how Michelle Williams got there, and then it's like, it swaps between where they're meeting, kind of like 500 Days of Summer does, although not exactly, because it's only telling two different stories. It's got as their relationship's ending and as their relationship's beginning, kind of running side by side to each other, like towards the end of 500 Days, towards the start of 500 Days of Summer even, is it? 500 Days of Summer does it all work very well, and I love 500 Days of Summer, and I love this almost as much as that. You know, and it's really, and it is mature, I think is what I should say, so, you know, but if you like The Notebook, you will love this, you will love Atonement. Just please don't say that The Notebook should be on this list, because it really shouldn't. I don't like The Notebook. But yeah, Blue Valentine, number 4. Number 3 then, Only God Forgives. This came out 2013. It is 2014 now. I was thinking, wait, are we in 2013? Or was it 2012 last year? No, it was 2013. It came out 2013. I was really looking forward to going to see it in the cinema, and then I found out that it was in fact an 18, and I'm not quite 18 yet, so I couldn't go and see it in the cinema. So I recently watched it, and it's directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, and it took me a couple of sittings to watch it, simply because I sat down to watch it after I came in late one night, and I thought, oh yeah, it'll be like Drive, so it'll be in full English, and then it was in subtitles, and I really wasn't in the mood to watch a subtitle film. I don't mind subtitle films at all, so I'm not one of those guys where I'm not going to watch it because it's in subtitles. No, it was, the majority of it is in subtitles, so I'm warning anyone now, but it is a really, really great film. A lot of critics didn't like it, and I think that's because it's very explicit in both violence and sex and whatever else. Ryan Gosling says a total of 17 lines in the film, so it's not the way he delivers lines, it's what he does, the way that he holds the stage. And they're saying, oh, Ryan Gosling's character, you won't like him in this. I didn't mind him at all. I thought that he was actually, he does what he does in Drive. He's very held together, honest, not honest, sorry, far from honest. Yeah, he, just very moody, doesn't really say anything, but there's that fight scene between him and the Thai cop. I can't remember what the Thai cop's actor's name is, and there's the fight scene between them, and it's just phenomenal. I think it's really well shot. The cinematography in Nicholas Winding Refn's films are just outstanding. I think that it's some of the best cinematography you'll see in film, next to David Lynch, who David Lynch is on a whole other scale. And so he plays Julian, who's a drug smuggler but has a boxing ring as a kind of front, and so he does all the drug dealing within this boxing ring. And at the start there's this really amazing shot where there's a boxing statue in front, and Ryan Gosling kind of looks at it, and then he takes the pose of the thing, and that kind of just says the role that his character's going to have. He's quite violent, and he's a fighter and whatever else, but then his brother kills a 16-year-old prostitute, and then that prostitute's father kills his brother, and then Ryan Gosling is pushed by the mother who comes over from America, and there's a reason that they're living in Bangkok and she's living in America because which I'm not going to say because of spoilers, but they're living apart for a reason of stuff that happened in America. And he's pushed into tracking down his brother's killer. and then eventually it links back to the cop, and they're like, this cop is getting other people to kill people, and then he's taking the credit for and whatever else. And what I loved about it is that with film, it's kind of got a trance inception element, not to do with the whole dream. Is it a dream? Isn't it? It's kind of that. It's that idea. A lot of it, I wasn't entirely sure whether it was real. Like, there's a scene when the Thai cop is. It happens multiple times. She's singing on karaoke, and you're not sure if that's real because all these other cops are just sitting around, and he's just singing on the karaoke. And I'm not sure whether that's real or whether it's not. And even after watching the film, you think, yeah, by the end of the trance and inception, you're kind of able to work out which bits were real, which bits weren't. Put pieces together. On this, you're not. I still have no idea which bits were real. I still have no idea which bits weren't. The only bit, there's a bit, and it's really, but it doesn't do it in a way that you're then confused. You're kind of happy to just take it like, okay. So it's very, very surreal. There's a scene towards the start when he's walking down a corridor and then his hands get chopped off. And you're not entirely sure what's going on for the most part. And it's really, and Ryan Gosling is absolutely fantastic as the role of Julian. He's just this kind of moody, almost idiot, like kind of village. He doesn't seem to be able to grasp the idea of talking and whatever else. And he's just absolutely, I loved it. Critics didn't like it, got very harsh reviews, but if you get a chance to watch it, I strongly suggest it. It is violent. But yeah. So, number 2. So, number 3 is Only God Forgives. Number 2, I'm still torn between which one should be 2 and 1, but I think, looking at this list as a Ryan Gosling list, number 2 is Place Beyond the Pines, because he doesn't have enough stage time for it to be number 1. Yet this is still one of the best performances I've ever seen from him. And I've talked about Place Beyond the Pines before. He finds out that he's a father to a child, and so he quits from the circus, and he has to earn money some way, and so he starts to rob banks because he comes into contact with this other guy. I can't remember who plays him. It's a famous actor. And he says, your skill is to ride bikes. That's what he does. And so he can't really, and so he robs banks, and it goes on from there. And Bradley Cooper's a cop and tries to hunt him down, all of that. And so, simply for the sole reason that he doesn't have enough screen time, it's split between Dane DeHaan, Bradley Cooper, and Ryan Gosling. That's screen time, so they each get about 50 minutes each. For that sole reason, Place Beyond the Pines is number 2, rather than number 1. Because I think that as a film, Place Beyond the Pines is better. But as a Ryan Gosling, looking at it from Ryan Gosling's list, it's number 2. So, to summarise, number 5, Ides of March. Number 4, Blue Valentine, nearly forgot it. Number 3, Only God Forgives. Number 2, The Place Beyond the Pines. Number 1 is Drive. It's directed by Nicholas Winding Refn again. It came out in 2011, one of my favourite films of that year. The others being Go Drunk 2, the American version, which... and I'll talk about that in another episode. And we need to talk about Kevin. They were my 3 favourite films of that year. And Drive is... And so it's directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Only God Forgives, and it's got Ryan Gosling in it, same as Only God Forgives. And so it's that team, which is why I was looking forward to Only God Forgives so much, because I absolutely love Drive. It's a very simple B-movie thriller. Ryan Gosling plays a driver. He doesn't have a name, he's called Driver. Even in in the book he doesn't have a name. I've read an extract from that. And he, he's a getaway driver, but then, by day he works in a garage making cars for stunt films, making cars for stunts for films, and then he drives those cars as a stunt double. But that it's not really important to the movie until later on, really. And then he meets Carrie Mulligan, who is his neighbour, and they grow close. And then her husband comes out of prison, and her husband owes money to some guys, and they're making him do a job. And so Ryan Gosling decides to help out this guy, only to discover there was more to the job than he first thought. So, and I don't know what it is. I think it's partly cinematography, the the soundtrack. Ryan Gosling again holds his own as the driver, not really saying much, doing it for actions, and he's so calm and blank most of the time. And then there's the scene in the elevator where he completely loses it, and it goes full blown, and people go, "Oh yeah, but how can you like the character because he's practically a psychopath and whatever else?" But you like the character because he's doing it for the good of another family, and so he gets involved with gangsters and whatever else, and that's basically the film. It's on a very small scale, really. You don't get some big, well, you do, but it's not like taking into big skyscrapers into a big office and whatever else. It's very simple. They're hunting the driver down and trying to get to him. And I just think I love the film. I've said to my friends so much that I've showed it to one of my friends and they love it as well. My brother, people won't like it because there really isn't much dialogue. Not much happens for the first 45 minutes. But you need to just hold on, even if you're getting bored, just hold on for those last 45 minutes where it turns into this full-blown chase. And so yeah. So number 5, Ides of March. 4, Blue Valentine. 3, Only God Forgives. 2, Place Beyond the Pines. And number 1, Drive. My top 5 Ryan Gosling films. So like, favorite, enjoyed, subscribe, and tell me what you want me to talk about next. I can do the Golden 2 compared to Sweden, American, whatever else, or just talk about one film in particular. Sorry if I offended any Notebook fans, but it's a bad film. Okay, see you next time.